Let's work a little bit with the camera distance by opening a scene. Click the application button, open, navigate to the Chapter 7 subdirectory and choose the file Chapter 7 camera1.max. Click open to open the file. This is a shot of our interior scene. There's the camera 1 view, which is currently active, with the subject being the table, chair, and lab equipment. What we're looking at in terms of cinematography is a medium shot. It's a shot that's not too close and not too far away from the subject, but shows the whole subject to the viewer. In the left viewport, click to select the camera. You'll notice that the camera is backed up all the way to the wall, so we can't move the camera back any further from the medium shot. Otherwise, we'll go through the wall, but we can move it closer. One way to do this is click on the dolly camera option in the viewport navigation tools at the lower right of your screen. Go ahead and click on the dolly camera button. It's the first button in the top row. This will allow us to actually move the camera towards and away from the subject. In order to do this in the viewport, this is a tool that's specific to the camera viewport. Click and hold the left mouse button and drag your mouse up and down to dolly in and out of the camera viewport. In this particular scene, if I dolly the camera into a close shot, then the viewer will be focused on the Bunsen burner that's in the center of the table, and not so much on the entire set of lab equipment and furniture. So we've changed the viewer's perception of the world inside the scene, and the level of involvement the client now has with the Bunsen burner. If I come back out, I can only go just so far as the wall. If I go too far, I'll be outside the wall, and that's not going to work for us. Medium shots and close-up shots are just part of the repertoire of camera distance. Another important shot is known as a long shot or a wide shot. The problem with the current camera setup is that I can't back the camera out far enough to get an effective long shot. The reason why we want to get a long shot or a wide shot is to establish the location of the scene. Another term for this shot is the establishing shot. It establishes the location so the viewer understands where everything is in relationship to everything else in the scene. Let's fix this and adjust the camera settings so that we can get a longer shot, or wider shot in this case. On the command panel, click over to the Modify panel. Make sure you have the camera selected. That's a very important part of this. You'll notice that there's values for the lens that are very much like traditional photography. We have some stock lenses that we can choose from, or we can adjust the lens using the lens value type-in. Currently we have a 24mm lens, which is a moderately wide lens that gives us the shot we have now. If we click on the 15mm button, you'll notice that we change to a much wider angle lens and increase the field of view of our lens. This provides a much wider shot of our scene and helps us establish the location we're currently in. In this case, it's the lab, and because of this wide shot, you can now see other equipment in the lab. The good thing about this is that we haven't actually moved the camera, we're just giving the perception that we're further away. The emotional effect that a wide shot tends to have is to detach the viewer from the individual objects in the scene. It also changes the perspective. Wide-angle cameras tend to have a little bit more of a distorted look to them when you do close-up zoomed-in views. We learned that you can move your camera to a close-up shot, a medium shot, or a wide shot, either by moving the camera in and out, or by zooming the camera in and out by changing the focal length of the lens. Again, by zooming the camera, we can go to a 35mm lens and get a bit closer, or we can go to a 50mm lens and get even closer to our subject. Notice that we're not moving the camera, and the perspective is a little bit different in the viewport. This is important for establishing the connection between your scene and the viewer.